Hey everyone, Nashwauk Steve here. Today I'm going to be getting our snowmobiles ready for summer storage. So I'm going to walk through the steps that I take to get these sleds ready for summer for long-term, 6-month plus type storage. This may not be exactly the manufacturer's recommendation, it's just what I do, and it seems to have worked for me for the past number of years. I'm maintaining sleds all the way back to 1996 that still start up fine every fall. Haven't had any issues that have been catastrophic by any means, so we're gonna go ahead and show you what I start with, how we get these things ready to sit. Grease on all the zerks that I can find. So there's usually a couple on these spindles here on either end. On this machine, it's tucked up right in there. And same on the other side. And then there are 3 underneath that I get. It'll lay on your stomach to get to these, but they are under here. You can see one is up there on that shaft that goes across. Another one right there on the lower part of the suspension. And then again, on the lower part down there, it's behind here. Actually, it's on this side. Right over there. Give those a good shot of grease. Any other zerks you can find. Sometimes there are some under the hood. I know on the Polarises, they had some there for the steering. Any of those you can find, that's the first thing you do is get everything greased up. The next thing I do is I take WD-40, like this, and I spray it on any of the metal on metal moving points on the sled. So I actually go through and I spray around here on these junctions, like right in there, out here, any place where there's a joint like that, a ball joint there, spray those down. Anything over here where there's gonna be metal moving on metal, it always helps just to minimize corrosion on the sled in the off season. Don't touch the clutches at all. I leave those alone. I don't give those any sort of lubrication. Anything else under the hood, over on the other side, there's the reverse mechanism on the gearbox. I'll spray that down. And even the bogey wheels, I like to spray those down too, just give them a little coating. Keeps them from getting any sort of buildup over the summer or any sort of rust or corrosion on them. So spray the insides and outsides of all those. And that's what I do as far as lubrication goes. The next step is to give the spark plugs a check out. So I open up the little toolkit on this machine under the hood and just use that to pop off these spark plugs, take a look at them, and then see if we need to replace them perhaps, or at least put them on the list for next spring. And then what we'll do is just shoot a little fogging oil into each of these openings and just turn the engine over a couple times without the spark plugs in to make sure that that oil gets spread out throughout the inside of the engine there. If you really want to get aggressive, you can pull the air box and you can spray fogging oil into the throats of the carburetors. That's what I actually do on my boat every fall, but for the snowmobiles I have not been doing that. It doesn't seem to be necessary. Again, a lot of people probably disagree with me on that, but that's what that looks like. I'll get the other one spun out here in a second. Well, I love this stuff. It's good for anything that's going to be off season, and where I'm at, everything has a season, so you're always getting it ready to sit for 6 months at a time. So spray that in there just a little bit. I'll do this to the other one as well, and then we'll turn it over. I sprayed both of those spark plug holes with the fogging oil. Then I'll just go over here, and actually, rather than using the key and turning it that way, I just like to pull the handle a couple times without the plug wires connected, just to get that oil around the cylinders and the top of the cylinder there. So that's it for that. The next thing I like to do is to keep rodents from making homes in your snowmobile is to tuck a rag in the exhaust port right there. So I just take a little rag that I've got laying around the shop, stick it up there, get it in there nice and tight so mice aren't going to find their way up there. And that's it for exhaust. One more thing to mention is that I always use stabilized gasoline in these snowmobiles, because here where we ride, you never know which ride is going to be your last one. So I always like to have stable in the gas, and that way it's always run through the fuel system also. So if you're not using stabilized fuel, I recommend that you stabilize what's in your tank. But like in this case, it's already there. So definitely recommend that so you don't get any old fuel to deal with next time you're on the sled. All right, so the last thing that I'm going to do to this snowmobile before it sits for the off season is to get the battery on a charger. You could pull this battery out and put it on a charger for the summer. In this snowmobile, I actually have the leads connected all the time, and it comes to a connection like that. So I take the old battery tender here, plug that in through the hood into this battery, and it sits and it trickle charges all summer long, so it's ready to go come next fall. So that's pretty much all I do for this snowmobile. Right now I'm just going to put the cover on it to keep the dust off, and we'll get that battery charger hooked up, and that will be all this snowmobile is going to see until next time we get it out for some riding. Hope that helps you. I hope it saves you some time in the future and keeps your snowmobiles running nice and smooth and starting up every fall when you need them.